Welcome. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at this WAVLINK USB4 PCIe NVMe SSD enclosure. So this is provided to me by the distributor, but they're not compensating me for this video and they're not reviewing it before I post it. If you find this video helpful and you want to purchase one of these, I'll put a link to it in the description, and if you use that link it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost anything extra. So this has a magnetic top lid, excellent cooling with built-in fan, compact design, 3800 megabytes per second read and write. Now that's the max speed. We'll do a test to see what we actually get. Down here it says USB 4 Type-C, NVMe M2, PCIe 4.0. On the back it says what we have in the box. We have the enclosure, cable, silicone buckle, pouch, quick start guide. And it also says an NVMe SSD is not included, so you need to buy a separate SSD. And we have specs here. So this is USB 4, but it's also compatible with Thunderbolt 4, 3, and then all the USB down to USB 2.0. The speed claim on the front is the max speed for sequential reading and writing, and it's compatible with different NVMe sizes. We have 2280, 2260, 2242, and 2230. So 22 is going to be the width, and the second number is going to be the length. Has the built-in fan and aluminum case, plug and play, no driver required, and it's compatible with Windows 10 or later, macOS 10.5 or later, and Linux. Only compatible with M-key connectors. So let's get this open. Here we have the enclosure. Pull this out. We have a pouch. So it looks like it has a part for the main enclosure, and then the cable. We have the USB-C cable. We have two little plugs. That's for installing the drive. This looks like some compliance information and a quick start guide. Let's take a quick look at it. So it has what's in the box. This talks about opening it. So this is toolless installation. It has a thermal pad that goes on the lid. This talks about installing the drive, closing it, then it talks about using disk management and such to format it. So it looks pretty straightforward. Get this out. This says the enclosure can get warm. Now this has some heft to it. It feels real nice. So this cable is about 9 3/4 inches. Now we're likely going to need at least one of these plugs. So let's take a look at this. So this is made of aluminum. You can see we have grooves in here to help with cooling. We have a slot here, two slots here, and the USB port. To open this, we'll pull this open here. And it looks like the thermal pad is already installed, so that's nice. And here we have the enclosure. So the NVMe SSD will install here. I have a Western Digital Black SN850. So I'm going to place that in here. Then I'll hold it down. I'll make sure this is lined up side to side. And I want to put this plug in. So I'm going to let it up just a little bit, and there's a little slot here. I'm going to slot that over the drive and press it down, and that will lock it in place. So now I can install the cover. So that's going to hinge off the one side. It's going to notch under there, and this holds closed with magnets. So when you're finished using your drive, you can slide it in here, and we can slide the cable in here, and you have it all stored up. Okay, so here I'm at my computer. This is a MacBook Pro with an M4 processor. This supports Thunderbolt 4. This model actually supports even Thunderbolt 5, but it supports 4. So I'm going to plug the USB in the drive here, and then I'll plug this into the laptop, into the USB port. Now you may have a message come up asking if you want to support the drive, and you can say okay. So I'm going to open up Disk Utility, so I'll hold down Command Space. It will bring up Spotlight, and I'll just type in disk, and Disk Utility will pop up and I can open it. Now I already formatted this, but I'll show you how to do it. So I want to go here to View, right here, and I'm going to say Show All Devices, and I actually have this formatted, but I'm going to reformat it. So we can see internal and external here on the left side. We want to go to external, and we have this large string, and it says Container Disk 1, and then I have WAVLINK. That's what I previously named it. But I'll click on the main drive here, and I'm going to go up here to Erase in the upper right, and I'll name this, and I want to format this as APFS. Now if you're on Windows you'll probably want NTFS. If you're going between Mac and Windows you would want exFAT. The scheme is GUID partition map, so I'll hit erase. This will erase the drive, and I'll hit done. So now we have the 1 terabyte drive. So I'm going to open up Blackmagic Speed Test. Now this is software I've downloaded and installed. And I'll select the WAVLINK drive as my target drive. So I'll go to the gear here and I'll say select target drive. And I'll run the speed test. So we're getting around 3,400 megabytes per second read and 3,400 megabytes per second write. So very fast speeds on this. Next I have two folders open. On the left I have a folder with some large files in it, and on the right I have the WAVLINK folder. One is 6.35 gigabytes, the other is 6.14 gigabytes, so it's around 12 gigabytes. And this is on my local hard drive, and this is the WAVLINK external SSD. So we'll just drag these over and we'll see how fast they copy. So it says about 5 seconds, and it's done. So this handled very large files with ease. So there is a light on the front here, and I can hear the fan running a little bit. The drive does have some warmth to it, but that fan should keep it cool, along with the aluminum enclosure and that thermal transfer pad. So that's the WAVLINK USB4 PCIe NVMe SSD enclosure. Now oftentimes you can buy your own NVMe SSD and an enclosure like this and get faster speed times than a pre-built SSD drive. Now it depends on the specs of the SSD drive, but I've seen many SSDs that are limited to USB 3.2 speeds. With this you're getting USB 4 speeds. This is going to be faster than many computers' internal SSDs, especially if the SSD inside your computer is not the latest technology. It can also be on par, and it can be slower if you have a super modern fast laptop, but this is very, very fast. This is going to be about maybe 6 times faster than the fastest of SATA drives. So a drive like this would be ideal when you're working off the drive. So say you're doing video editing and you want just the fastest access times. This is a great solution for that. This could be great for backing up. Now if your computer is just sitting all the time, you can have all the time in the world to back up. But if you're on the go, you may want to back up while you have the computer up and running. So you can plug this in, run your backup, unplug it, and put it back in your bag and not have to wait a long time for that backup to occur. Now since you put your own drive in, it's flexible on what size drive you put in. So I put a 1 terabyte drive in, but you could put a larger drive in. I've seen like 8 terabyte drives. So if you want a very large external storage, you can do that. Of course, you can always take the drive back out and repurpose it or upgrade it later. That's no problem. So if you're looking for super fast external storage, I think this WAVLINK enclosure is a great option. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you liked this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate it if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.